Hello there, internet friends. It is your host, Brat Jackson. Welcome to another edition of Brat Said That. Hope everybody's doing a great day. And I want to introduce, real quick, my co-host for today. Say hello to Rufus. Hi, everybody. I'm Rufus. Today we're going to talk about sports. What's your favorite sports? Alright guys, I'm just joking. Having fun today. I got a mustache now. We are here. Welcome everybody to another 27th edition of Brat Said That. Yes, I have a cardigan now. I'm wearing a mustache. Or I have a mustache and I'm wearing a cardigan now. Guys, we're having fun. New year 2026. Same old Brat energy. We got so much to talk about today. We do. A lot's happened in the last few days. We haven't been on since Monday night. It is now Friday afternoon. That's like a whole 5 days. Five days. First off, as we do, let's make sure I am live for everybody to see my handsome face. And yes, I see it right there on the internet. Oh, I hope everybody's having a great day. A fun day. We're going to have a fun show today. We're going to have a fun show, a relaxing show. So thank you, my internet neighbors. Just another Friday. Just a Friday. We got the NCAA playoffs, football happening. The NFL playoffs happening tomorrow. This weekend is wild card weekend. And guys, before we start, I want to just introduce my co-producer, Chad Le Gepette, because Chad's got some exciting news, guys. So, ever since we started this show, we have done Chad Le Gepette picks every single week. What is this? Breaking news. Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis has sustained ligament damage in his left hand. Shocking news, Anthony Davis is hurt. That's not shocking news. But back to Chad Le Gepette. He has made his picks, and we got the results for the NFL week, or the NFL season. Chad Le Gepette went 127-79 overall record, which is great. 61% winning percentage. Total weeks, 14 weeks, because we start a little bit into the season. Lock of the week. The lock of the week, the team that he knew, no matter what, he put all his croissants in one basket, and he said, this team is going to win 13 out of 14. So, congrats to Chad Le Gepette. Better sports better than I am. But, yeah, Chad Le Gepette, still wild card weekend. He's got the picks on the Instagram. Go check it out. Brat Jackson on Instagram. But guys, we are going to start off where we always start off, inside the squared circle. Yes, that is right. I got a little compilation on about Fatal 4-Ways, best of the Fatal 4-Ways, something the WWE Vault posts on the internet. So, we're going to talk about NXT. Yes, they had their New Year's Evil show just the other day. And what a show it was. We're going to go on and talk about it. New Year's Evil in Orlando, the January of the 6th. Tatum Paxley defeated Izzy Dame. The Culling girls finding each other. Tatum Paxley got a big win. Good for her. JC Jane retained the NXT Women's Championship over Kendall Gray, which JC Jane needs to get called up soon. Okay, ASAP. We're going to talk about all the call-ups and all the rumored call-ups from NXT to the main roster. Then, later in the show, Thea Hale, who just won the NXT Women's North American Championship against Blake Monroe, was going to have a rematch. We all remember what happened. The little botch at the end. Blake Monroe not kicking out. Referee counting 3 like you're supposed to. She was supposed to defend it against Blake Monroe, but all of a sudden, Monroe was attacked prior, and then Little Rock Baby, the NXT general manager, Ava, said, hey, you're out. So, Hell decided to defend it in an open challenge match. And who answered the call? Izzy Dame, yes. Now, Izzy Dame is now the new NXT Women's North American Champion. So, good for her. Double duty on an NXT show. And then the main event. Oba Femi. Oba Femi defeated Leon Slater to retain the NXT Championship. Good match. I love these NXT cards. I do. Little breath of fresh air. But the big news that happened after the match. After Oba Femi successfully defended the NXT Championship against Leon Slater, he left the NXT Championship belt inside the middle of the ring, implicating he is relinquishing the title. That's right, Oba Femi said, "Nuh-uh, no more. I'm moving on to the main roster." So now the NXT Championship, is it vacant? It is vacant. Yes, we have our first vacancy of 2026, and NXT Championship is up for grabs. I don't know what they're going to do to crown a new NXT champion, but like I said, tournaments are cool. But you know what's even better? A Royal Rumble. Yes, that is right. NXT, make your version of the Royal Rumble to crown the first ever NXT Royal Rumble crown for the new NXT champion. Please. The stash does not lie, folks. That would be amazing. Man, you can have Oba Femi come into the WWE Royal Rumble, which we'll talk about later down the line. But that would be a great way to just crown a new champion. Plus, the more Rumble matches, the better, because the Rumble matches are the best match of the year. But like I said, we did talk about the call-ups from Raw to SmackDown. I got a list right now. So, we know Javon Evans signed his contract during the commercial. He is part of the Raw roster. So, shout out to Javon Evans. Last Legend, been with Nia Jax for the last few months. She's on SmackDown. Trick Williams, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Such a nerd. He's begun on SmackDown too. Jordan Grace, who I've always been a fan of, finally she seems to be on SmackDown's roster too. And where does that leave Oba Femi? Because, you know, I don't know, I just got tired over some. Oba Femi, not yet announced, but he is going to be on the main roster within the next show. Hopefully, of this show. Okay? So, you know, I love it. I love when NXT roster members get called up to the main roster. They deserve it. No one might say who deserves what, but still, it's good. It is. Oh, Kurt Angle just won something. I can hear his song in the background. So, yeah, Javon Evans, Last Legend, Trick Williams, Oba Femi, and Jordan Grace. Pretty good, solid next generation for the main roster. But one thing that is going on, I think right now, I don't know if it's been taped or it's happening right now, SmackDown is happening in Berlin, Germany. Yes, Germany. Guten Tag. Joey Fresh, how you doing, buddy? SmackDown is happening right now. I got a little bit of the results. You know, we talked about Trick Williams making his SmackDown debut. He defeated Rey Fenix. What are you doing with Rey Fenix? When Penta comes back, oh, well, they're kind of doing that. No, that's Dragon Lee. You know, all these luchadors, man, I don't want to sound like, you know, but they all look alike with the mask on to me. Put Rey Fenix and who's winning the Rumble? Well, it is too early to tell. I was just saying, Joey Fresh, that NXT, the NXT Championship is vacant. Oba Femi said, hey, I'm going to be on the main roster soon. So I think NXT should have their own Rumble. But who's going to win this Rumble? Oh, Joey Fresh, I got to see. That is tough. It's really good because a lot of years there's always one consensus winner. But this year we got a lot. Cody is going to probably go to WrestleMania as WWE Champion. And then Punk is going to go as World Heavyweight Champion. Thank you. I like good ideas. I really, if I could think of the one person who might win this Rumble, Joey Fresh, I'm going to play their theme song. I think for the second time ever, the 2026 Rumble is going to be won by the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're trying to do Cody versus Roman 3. Okay? So I think Roman's probably going to win the Rumble. I like new Rumble winners. Okay? I do. But, Punk's already got the World Heavyweight Championship, so he doesn't need to win the Rumble. Okay? Roman Reigns, they want to do Cody. They want to do something with Roman Reigns. And it's going to be in Saudi. So they're not going to, they need to have the A plus person win the Rumble to make all the Saudi princes happy. So I think Roman is going to win it once again. He won it in 2015. We all remember that with The Rock coming out, getting booed out of Philadelphia. Now we got Roman winning this year. Not who I personally want to. No. But Roman Reigns, he's the perfect candidate, Could be the Boogeyman. I don't know why the Boogeyman's on my TV, but it's not going to be the Boogeyman. But if I had to book the Rumble, man, I don't know. I really don't know. That is a great question. Now, equal opportunities, Joey Fresh. For the women, we got Jade Cargill. She might hold the title to WrestleMania. And then, who's the other one? Jade Cargill. Who's the other women's champion? I should know this. I do a show about wrestling. Jade Cargill on Raw is... Who is... I don't know. Is this bad? Who is the women's champion? I don't know. It's Jade Cargill. Stephanie. Oh my God, of course. My apologies. But she's hurt. She is hurt. She's injured. So, I don't know. Yeah, she's awesome too, but she's injured. She's hurt. She got a leg injury. Now, if you want to do Raquel Rodriguez, you can always do her. A lot of people talking about Bianca Belair coming back and winning. I can ask my co-host, most likely to win 2026 Women's Rumble. Chad Le Gepette, who do you think is a favorite to win the Rumble? Now, it's kind of weird because it's in Saudi, so, they don't really care too much for the women like they do the men there. So, Rhea's always a likely winner. Bianca, I don't see Becky winning that. Io Sky, I don't see her winning that, but they say Rhea Ripley. It's still, it's good. The Rumble season hasn't really begun yet. We don't have really anybody announcing them I'm going to go to the Rumble and win it this year. Which we'll see now. We'll see soon. By the way, folks, if you're watching, don't forget 11 a.m. on the West Coast on January 29th or January 31st. It is going to be 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay? Now, I don't know what this is, but I just read that there is a fatal four-way to determine the number one contender for the undisputed WWE Championship at the Rumble. And that's going to happen on Saturday night's main event. So, that changes some things. But we are just still a few weeks away. It's the best time of the year. I know, Joey Fresh, you came over a decade ago to watch the Rumble with us. Or, you know what? Speaking about a decade, Who debuted in the WWE a decade ago at the 2016 Rumble? AJ Styles. Now, never won the Rumble. Never really, got that showcase match at WrestleMania, So why not? He's going to say he's retiring soon. 2026 might be his last year. Let's have a phenomenal Royal Rumble winner. That's right. I'm going to say right now, Brad said that my show, I want AJ Styles to win. AJ Styles is phenomenal. No pun intended. And he is just somebody who, he needs to have a legendary, like a goodbye, like you had John Cena, but don't mess it up this time. So, AJ Styles goes on, wins the Rumble. Maybe Gunther defeats Punk, wins the world title. AJ versus Gunther at WrestleMania. But I don't book this stuff, If I did, it would be a lot better than what we watch every Friday and Monday. But since it is Friday, SmackDown is happening. Julia retained the Women's Championship, United States Championship. She got it back from Chelsea Green, which I don't like. Keep it on Chelsea. She's entertaining. She defeated Alexa Bliss to retain. Why Alexa Bliss gets a title shot, I don't know. And then you would still, these are all SmackDown highlights. And MFT defeated the Wyatt Six in a feud that's been going on forever. Jordan Grace, I think, has made her SmackDown debut today. She defeated Alba Fire with Chelsea Green. And then Carmelo Hayes, who is the United States Champion, he's facing Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't have the results for that. And Cody versus Drew, dominant. In 3 stages of Hell match, which, now that SmackDown's 3 hours, you can have an 8-match card. You can have a 3 stages of Hell matches. Anyway. But yeah, SmackDown's happening, already happened in Germany. NXT New Year's Evil happened. Good show. AEW, Joy Fresh. AEW is coming back to Vegas. Yes, AEW is coming back to Vegas. Dynamite and Collision on February 4th. Less than a month away. This is not true, but I want to sound important. This is just bullshit, but this is me sounding like I'm an actual reporter. I got access to the pre-sale code. It is Gen2 AEW. GEN2 AEW. So yeah. I just saw that on the internet. Nobody gave me access, but I wanted to sound cool. But we have... Hey, I don't have house seats anymore. It's definitely... Yes. If you live in the Vegas area, there is a thing called house seats. I pay like $100. I got 2 years of free tickets for stuff. Okay? And AEW is usually always on that. I should just buy it back, It was very beneficial. But you got it. Okay, so, get me a ticket and we'll go. And, yeah, I went to Double or Nothing for free, a couple of Rampages for free. Got to see Edge this close. It was awesome. But, one person who's making news, like we talked about last week, Chris Jericho. What is going on with Chris Jericho? Is he going to stay in AEW? Is it going to come back to WWE? Now, the Rumble, like we said, is in a few weeks. Jericho loves surprises. Imagine, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Break the walls down. Get a huge pop, Like I said, Jericho's on his way out of the wrestling world, too. He is older. He's early to mid-50s. So this is really the last run for Jericho before he rightfully goes into the Hall of Fame. So, is he going to come back to AEW? He likes AEW from what I've seen. First AEW World Champion. He's got history there. But he's got so much history in the WWE. So, whatever Chris Jericho wants to do, there are Jericho fans forever. No matter if he's in WWE, TNA. Oh, speaking about TNA, I didn't write that in my notes, but I will because that just reminded me. So, when we finish talking about Chris Jericho, I want to move on. So, where's Chris Jericho going to go? What is he going to do? Whatever happens, is going to be good. But TNA, AMC debut, just a few weeks away next Thursday. And TNA announced today, the multiple-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and the Brats had that pick to win the Rumble this year, the phenomenal AJ Styles will return for the debut episode of Impact. What a great get for TNA. Now, I know I heard he's wrestled more matches in the WWE than he did in TNA. I find that hard to believe because he was in TNA from 2002 to 2014-13. And he's only been in WWE for 10 years. So, but he's got, if there's a Mount Rushmore of TNA. Now, that's a good question. Thank you for asking. Who would be my Mount Rushmore of TNA? Well, you got to have Jeff Jarrett on there. The founder. Slapnuts. Multi-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. You got to have the phenomenal AJ Styles. Won every single championship in the book. X Division Champion. Tag Team Champion. Television Champion. Legends Champion. Champion of Champions. Phenomenal. Then you can go with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, that X Division style that we all love from a guy his size. Dominant. Didn't lose for a year. Now, this is tricky. Angle. I love Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, to me, is the most underrated wrestler of all time. But do you give Kurt Angle that fourth spot? What about a guy like Christopher Daniels? Frankie Kazarian? What about a guy even like a James Storm? Guys that have made their names outside of WWE and built a TNA from the ground up. Abyss. One of the best characters. Abyss. But Kurt Angle is just, he is, a lot of people, I hear the Mount Rushmores and it's Bret Hart, Ric Flair, rightfully so. But Kurt Angle, he had the look, the three eyes. He's got I always hear everybody from the old timers say nobody's ever picked up pro wrestling faster than Kurt Angle. So, Kurt Angle would be a good Mount Rushmore fourth pick. So, Jarrett, Styles, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle. That is a really good Mount Rushmore. But AJ will appear on TNA Impact's AMC debut. So, excuse me, I gotta clear my nose. Deviated septum. But I just want to say before we move on to the MMA UFC section, reports indicate that Matt Taven, Mercedes Martinez, and Alex Abraham, some guy, have left AEW. So AEW done a few cuts this weekend. You don't really see AEW release people. So, they cut some people and they are moving on to a new direction in 2026. And to move on, MMA, Zuffa Boxing. Dana White's project is finally going to happen. He's been talking about Zuffa Boxing for years. For years. Zuffa Boxing. Now with TKO, they're launching their first event on January 23rd at the Apex right here in Las Vegas. It's going to premiere on Paramount Plus, and it's going to lead into UFC 324's weekend. This event will mark Dana White's full first foray into boxing promotion, and they're going to say they're going to do 12 events, which is cool. Dana's always critiquing boxing. Every time there's a boxing match, especially when it's ran by that one guy that he doesn't like, Oscar De La Hoya. He's always critiquing boxing. Well, now, Dana, it's your time in the boxing world. So, thank you. It is my, thank you for complimenting my beard. Our theme today is cardigan and hand puppets. Hello, Miss Debbie. Nice to see you. I don't know, I'm just having fun today. I got a cardigan and a mustache. I look like a child's TV show. And then, besides the boxing, John Jones and Daniel Cormier, two of MMA's most iconic rivals. Oil and water do not get along. They're set to coach against each other on some reality show in Germany or Russia or somewhere. So, that's a rivalry we all remember. We all loved. DC and John Jones, they don't like each other. But speaking about rivalries, we have the wild card weekend is here. Yes, NFL football playoffs. Ain't nothing better. And it starts tomorrow. Rams and Panthers. And the rivalry I talked about, Packers at Bears. Now, we said last show, the Super Bowl is going to be the Buffalo Bills versus the San Francisco 49ers. This is Josh Allen's year. There's no Mahomes. There's no Lamar. There's no Burrow. They're all the Patriots. Now, the Patriots, but if Josh Allen wants to win a Super Bowl in his career with the Bills, this is the year. This is a year to do it. But tomorrow, Rams and Panthers, Packers and Bears. We have the picks. Chad Le Gepette picks are on the Instagram. Like we said on top of the show, 61% with his picks this year. So shout out to the co-host, Chad Le Gepette. Did very well. But let me get his picks this year for the wild card. So his picks for the Rams and Panthers and Packers and Bears, he's got the Rams and the Packers, which the Bears are going to be at home. That rivalry is probably the biggest rivalry in football. Packers and Bears, Bears and Packers. He's got the Packers winning, and he's got the Rams beating the Panthers with it's the lock of the week. The Panthers, they stumbled into the playoffs. Barely got into the playoffs, but it is the playoff format, and the Panthers have done it. All you got to do is have a better record than three other teams in your division, and you move on to the playoffs. Now, do I think that's fair? I'm not Roger Goodell, okay? I don't know. But, if you're going to have divisions, the division leader should move on to the playoffs. So, the Panthers are going to host a playoff game against the Rams. He picks the Rams. Chad Le Gepette picks the Rams. I want to personally see the Panthers for my nephew James. I say it every week. So, but I can see the Rams, Puka Nacua, doing great. Matthew Stafford doing great. So I think the Rams easily overpower the Panthers. And then Packers and Bears. I think the Bears. The Bears are doing great this year. The Packers are doing just as good. It's going to be a game. It's going to be a good game. Let me tell you, okay? I have no horse in this race. I don't. The Raiders are gone. They're done. They're back on the golf course. I'm going to enjoy these playoffs. There's no Chiefs. There's certainly no Cowboys. Now, do I want the Eagles to win? Not really, because I like to see new champions. But, I want the Bills to win this year, okay? But I think between the Packers and Bears, I'm picking my personal right here. I'm picking the Bears. The Bears. I'm picking the Bears to beat the Packers and move on. And then Sunday, 3-game Sunday, Bills at Jaguars. Yes, Jacksonville is hosting against the Buffalo Bills. 49ers at the Eagles. And Chargers at the Patriots. Now, Chad Le Gepette, he's got the Bills, the Eagles, and the Patriots. I agree, but I digress. I got the Bills over Jacksonville. I would love nothing more to see Jacksonville win. even though I want the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Like, I don't care. It's an awesome feeling to not care. To not care about any team, any Super Bowl. Oh, I got to see Patrick Mahomes in another Super Bowl. Not this year. Oh, I got to see Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Okay, I'm sorry. I got to stop. I can't. Cowboys in the playoffs. What happens when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl? You turn off the PlayStation and go back to bed. Anyway, we're having fun, kids. But yeah, 49ers at the Eagles. That's going to be a really tight game. I got the 49ers winning. I got them going to the Super Bowl. I got them defeating the defending Lombardi Cup. Lombardi, is it Lombardi Cup or Lombardi Trophy? Anyway, I got them defeating the Eagles. Chargers and Patriots, what a game that's going to be. The Patriots deserve to have... Excuse me. I don't have any drink tonight. I'm doing this dry. I had a cup of milk. Like a good boy. But Chargers and Patriots. The Patriots are doing great. I would love to see the Chargers win. Either or, I don't care. 5 years ago when they had Tom Brady, I would care. Because I never cared for the Patriots when they had the Brady-Belichick era. But, by the way, I made a really funny joke about Bill Belichick that I'll tell later in the show. But yeah, go Chargers. Patriots, you're doing phenomenal this year. So, whatever. And then Monday, Texans at Steelers. I don't care for Aaron Rodgers. So maybe I do care a little bit of this season. Aaron Rodgers, get out of here. Texans, moving on. So, my picks for the wild card week. The Rams, the Bears, the Bills, 49ers, the Chargers, and the Texans. I'm probably 2 or 3 wrong. But, Denver, it's got the number 1 seed. Seattle's got the number 1 seed in the NFC. But, big news. Big news. I don't know if we talked about this Monday. I don't have a good attention span. I don't remember things. But, Baltimore Ravens fired John Harbaugh after 18 years for the Baltimore Ravens. Tough firing. I mean, he brought him to the Super Bowl. Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. We remember that. But, if you don't win, you gotta move on. You gotta try something else. 18 years, only got 1 Super Bowl. But I do want to say this. John, come to Vegas. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm hitting cameras and stuff. John Harbaugh, come to Vegas. Okay? Come to Vegas. You got Mendoza. If we draft him, when we draft him, we should draft him. You can... Excuse me. First cough of this shit. First cough in like 2 weeks. It would be great to have him mentor Mendoza. And plus, a fun little thing. Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of the Chargers. You get to play against your brother twice a year. Yeah. Absolutely. So, that would be good. John Harbaugh has a history of winning. He's always winning, but this year, oh my God. Excuse me. Gee, I got tired. Anyway, big news down in Miami. Mike McDaniels got fired. Yeah, I thought Mike McDaniel was gonna get fired earlier in the year, but he just kept the whole season, and he's got a record of 35 wins and 33 losses. Only was a head coach for 4 years. Brought him to the wild card game twice, 2022, 2023. Lost both times. And then missed the playoffs in the previous 2 seasons. So Mike McDaniel is out of Miami. Which is tough. They began the season 1-6, 1-7. I figured McDaniel would have been fired way before this, but... some teams like to wait until the end of the year. They ended 7-10. So tough year for Miami. National Football League. Now, we got to shout out, because we're going to skip over, because I like transition. But the Miami defeated Ole Miss last night, 31-27 in the Fiesta Bowl. They are moving on to the NCAA Championship. Miami are either going to take on Oregon or Indiana. Mendoza's, my future number one pick, Indiana, has a 60.5% chance of winning. Which, okay, I've always said this. Now, I know there's like percentages, okay? Oh, this person has this point of percentage. You got 50-50. Life is 50-50. You either do or you either don't, okay? I don't want to hear this, we got 37.6% chance of doing something. No. You got 50-50. Mathematically, sure. But in life itself, 50-50. You either do or you don't, okay? But, yeah, really cool. I watched it last night, Miami versus Ole Miss. A little bit of controversy at the end. You know, was it pass interference? But, you know, I want to look at Miami's history, because Miami is the only team left that have actually won an NCAA championship. They won it back a few times. God, I don't know how to read this. 2001, and then 91 and 89. And then unclaimed national championships. I don't know what that means. But they won it back in 2001. I know everyone knows Rock was part of that Miami team. So I want to just look at like who was. Ken Dorsey was a quarterback for Miami. Clinton Portis, Frank Gore. What a heck of a team that was. You know. But then you have this Indiana team. This Indiana team is just phenomenal. 14-0. The Indiana Hoosiers, with Mendoza as the top. It's going to be good. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be on in about 2 hours. So, you know. But Oregon, I like Oregon. I like Ducks. Ducks are cool. You know. So, you know. What does an unclaimed national championship mean? I don't know what that means. But, regardless, it's going to be a good NCAA championship. We'll find out who's going to face Miami later tonight. I just wanted to transition from Miami to Miami like I'm Will Smith. But, speaking about another Miami team that's not doing so good, MLB.com has released the first power rankings of 2026. And guys and girls, the number one team, consensus number one overall, the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's no surprise. Dodgers, Blue Jays, Mariners, Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Brewers, Braves, Orioles, and Diamondbacks. Top 10. My White Sox. My lovely Chicago White Sox. Number 28 out of 30. Hey, we're not 30 out of 30, so good for the White Sox. We're going up the right direction. Miami Marlins, 20th in the middle. Mets, 13th. They dropped. They were contenders. I used to be a contender, but now they're not contenders. So, yeah, I mean, the team that has the lowest payroll and talent projection are the Cincinnati Reds. And then a team close to heart, close to home now. If you weren't before, you are now. And we got to be, because we'll be going to a lot of these games in the future. The Athletics, 29 out of 30. They're rebuilding their roster, their franchise. They're coming to Vegas. They actually got rejected for a trademark. I don't know why. Let me see. U.S. Patent Office denies Las Vegas Athletic trademarks. Why? U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has denied the A's request to trademark the names Las Vegas Athletics and Vegas Athletics. The club, which intends to move into Nevada in 2028, just 2 more years away, has 3 months from when the refusals were issued. The A's were told the nicknames Athletics were too generic and could be confused with other activities even if associated with Las Vegas. They've been the Athletics since 1901. What is going on, United States Patent and Trademark Office? But hey, if you're trying to just... Excuse me. I apologize. If you're trying to just rebrand everything, Aviators, or whatever would be a good name. So I want to ask my co-producer, if the Athletics can't be named the Athletics, what should the Las Vegas baseball team be called? Las Vegas Aces? Well, we already have one of those. Las Vegas Diamonds? Yeah. Las Vegas High Rollers? I was just there the other day. We're going to talk about that. Las Vegas Rattlers. Now, I've always loved the Las Vegas Outlaws. You know? Las Vegas Showmen. Very Vegas-y. Las Vegas Headliners. But, yeah. Vegas Athletics, or what you should call it. So, we'll see. I can't wait. You know, I just drove by where they're constructing the stadium last night. It's big. It's gonna be big. It's still a plot of land. There's still so much to go, but you know, it's still so early in the MLB season. We just had the World Series just the other day, but we do need to talk about the NBA. Basketball season has been going on. It is hot. And Trae Young, yes, the point guard from Atlanta, traded to the Washington Wizards for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. Young is a 4-time All-Star, franchise icon in Atlanta. So this is a huge reset for both teams. It really is. And if you don't know, if you don't realize, the Dallas Mavericks, my team, actually drafted Trae Young. Yes. Trae Young was technically a Maverick for 2 hours before he traded him for Luka Doncic. But Trae Young would now be on the Wizards in Washington ever since John Wall, you know, I don't know if he retired yet, but, you know, so what is your thoughts? Trae Young, controversial. I like him. I think the Wizards is a great ending or a great spot for Trae Young. But we can look at the NBA standings. It's not really changed much since the last time we looked at it. Pistons and Knicks and Celtics. Celtics, you're doing good. I don't like to admit that, but, you know, you were like 7th seed, now you're the 3rd seed. And then the Thunder still 31, first team to win 30 games. You know, we might see a really crazy NBA Finals this year. Mavericks 14-24, 11th seed. It's tough, man. It's tough, but you know. So Trae Young is going to Atlanta. Now there are talks that Memphis Grizzlies might be trading John Morant. John Morant drafted by the Grizzlies back in, I think, 2020. Open to trading John Morant, league sources indicate, meaning he could be one of the biggest deadline stories if teams pursue him. The NBA trade deadline is February 5th. So we got a month away. I don't think Giannis is going anywhere. There's a lot of talks about Anthony Davis getting traded from the Mavericks. You know, Lakers, who they're going to trade, you know. So there's going to be a lot of moves in the NBA in the next few weeks. And we're going to talk about it because that's what we do. So, we talked about the NFL. We talked about MLB, NBA, NHL. We got to talk about hockey. Let's talk about that hockey. Congrats to Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane scored his 500th NHL goal. Played for the Detroit Red Wings. First pick in 2007. Born November 19th, 1988. So he's one of us. A 1988 guy. Legendary career. Ultra Elite Club. Let's look at the 500. And okay, we're going to do that. Most goals in NHL history. We're going to look at the NHL players with 500 goals. So, let's see. We talked about Patrick Kane. He is now number 50 out of, 50th. John Tavares. He played for the Islanders. He's got, how many, excuse me, why is not, oh, here it is. Here it is. So, the number one best, we talked about this, most goals in NHL history, Ovechkin, then Gretzky, Gordie Howe, Jaromir Jagr, legendary Pittsburgh Penguins. Phil Esposito, a dude from the Islanders, or the Rangers, excuse me, back in the day. I remember his interview. I think they were getting beat bad. He's like, we're trying to play hockey. Mike Messier, every Long Islanders, every kid who grew up on Long Island in the 90s knows about Mark Messier. Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby, still doing it. 625 goals. Steve Stamkos. See, I don't know too much about hockey, but I know names now, you know. So, Malkin. So, shout out to Patrick Kane. So, 500 goals, elite list. But there is something I might want to dabble into. My Colorado Avalanche. Yes, I'm a Penguins fan, but I also love the Avalanche too. They're playing the Utah Mammoth in the 2027 NHL Winter Classic in Salt Lake City. So maybe I'll take a trip to Salt Lake City. I'm never driving up there again. That's for dang sure. That was a long, cold drive. But, yeah. So, that's that. So, we're really narrowing down the end of the show. I do want to talk about something I did yesterday in the comedy world. It was an open mic. I signed up. I got picked. And I did a set. But it was at the legendary Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club on the Strip. So, I can say that I've done comedy on the Strip at a world-famous comedy club. It was fun. Shout out to Essence, host. Clean comedy. I don't do clean comedy. Okay, I don't do dirty comedy. I'm like more lean dirty. You know, I drop an F-bomb. You know, I talk about body parts. But it was fun. Really, really fun set. I had a blast there. It was downstairs in the lobby. So maybe one day I'll make it upstairs to the actual stage. So this year I'm just going to focus on my health. Me and Babe, we can go to the gym, eating right. As you can see, there's no Coke Zero. You know, you got to just, you know, not going to stop drinking Coke Zero. I love that stuff. But, you know, no sugary drinks, no fast food. We haven't had fast food in so long, you know. But, you know, focus on my health, the family, the dogs, Rolly and Penny. Comedy, hitting up these mics, going to shows, and just sports, doing this podcast, doing little fun things like, you know, picks and having like a show twice and 3 times a week. Get more into wrestling. I know that's hard because I've been watching wrestling religiously since I was 7. That was 30 years ago. So, you know, maybe get back into the wrestling world as like a manager, per se. You know, I can be a Paul Heyman. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I can do that. But, you know, we had a fun show, guys. I really had a fun show. We're rounding down 50 minutes. That's usually like how I want to have a show. But I do want to talk about something, and I don't want to because I don't like to see how this world is doing. But I gotta say, we're going to take a turn. We're going to, this is a miscellaneous portion of the show. No more sports talk. We talked about wrestling. We talked about MMA, boxing, AEW, Zuffa, the games. But that incident in Minneapolis with that ICE agent fatally shooting Renee Nicole Good is just horrendous. Enough is enough. This world is... It's just so heartbreaking. Why is this world so divided? Why can't we just love each other? Why are we so angry? So derivative. Just because somebody has a different color of their skin or that they were born somewhere. You're telling me that if somebody who was born in Mexico for a month, came over here with their family, lived here all their life, speaks English, lives there for 29 years, works all their life, graduated from school, we're going to deport them back because they're not American citizens? It's just crazy. And this whole ICE incident in Minnesota, it breaks my heart because nobody deserves to go out like that. Okay? Nobody deserves to get shot in front of their family. I don't care what you believe in or who you are. There is no need for your untimely demise to happen on just a horrible, and for the world to see. Now, I know people talk about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay? We're not going to get into that. Okay? That was a horrible sight to see. No matter how you look at him or what his, nobody deserves to go out like that. Especially now with Renee Good, her murder. Like George Floyd. This is just horrible. Horrible. Get it together. Love each other. It's not that fucking hard. It's not that hard to just love your neighbor. You don't have to hate somebody just because they believe in a different person than you. You don't have to hate each other because they voted to a different party than you. We're on this planet once. We have one life to live. Don't live it with hatred in your heart. Don't live it with division in your heart. Nobody's perfect. You and I, me and her, whoever, we're going to have different opinions. And that's okay. It's okay to have different opinions on politics, sports, the color, should a man wear his girlfriend's cardigan shirt for a show? We can all have different opinions. But it doesn't mean you get the right to murder somebody over it. And I'm going to say this one time, and I don't really care. And I'm going to quote somebody. ICE, get the fuck out. We don't need you. Okay? We don't. Enough is enough. Okay? The video is just horrible. You get so many people just divided by this. It's a clear-cut video. She wasn't running over anybody. She wasn't attempting to ram this ICE officer with her car. Oh, he was in front of the car. No, he wasn't. Okay? And now a woman who has 3 children is dead. For what reason? For no reason. Enough is enough. And just enough is enough. Stop killing each other. Stop being jerks. Okay? This world is messed up as it is. Gas prices, food prices, we're invading other countries. Now, I don't want to talk about DJ, whatever his fucking name is. I'm not going to talk about him. But enough is enough. Okay, this is a sports show. We laugh. We have fun. We have finger puppets. But enough is enough. We can't love each other if we hate each other. So, my thoughts and prayers are with the family of Renee Good. Do better. And remember, love each other. Love yourself. and love sports. And I love you. I'll see you guys in a few days. Enjoy the playoffs.